Hey boys and girls, welcome to my recap of Being Mary Jane, Season 4, Episode 9. You know what? I feel like BET, after many episodes, finally heard my cries and calls. No PJ, less Lee, more Michael Ealy, more Kara and Orlando, and MJ still MJ. But yes, this was a great episode. I like this. Lee can go. Honestly, this last thing with him and Zoe, and Zoe's gonna ask for his sperm and he's gotta sit around and contemplate it. Like, what is there to think about? Sir, you're in a relationship with another woman who you're telling her, I love you, and you're popping up at her house to meet her parents, and you're still contemplating having children with someone else. I'm not only mad that she asked, I'm madder that you're considering it and taking a long time to consider it. Like, maybe at the table you're in shock that she asked, but you didn't give her an answer before you left the restaurant, and now you're back at MJ's place because I swear you don't have a house of your own, but now you're back at MJ's place and you're still contemplating that. Like, I don't understand what he's rolling around in his head. Mary Jane gets to the job the next day. She tells Kara, like, I feel like Zoe skipped the line. There shouldn't have been a line. Like, you're in a relationship. There shouldn't be a line. It should just be you. So she's at the job and she's talking to Kara, and Kara's asking her, like, well, you know, are you going to ask him still about his sperm because you still want to have babies with him? And I'm like, wait, is that option still on the table? Even given this whole Zoe thing, like, you're still contemplating having kids with him? She's like, no, I haven't mentioned it. Really? You still think about this? Okay. She's ignoring Lee's calls, so he pops his ass up at her job. Now look, maybe this is Black American 101 because Lee is British. She's not from America. So maybe this is just like, you know, African American culture, but you don't pop your ass up at nobody's job. Like, you could be fighting to the death. Like, if somebody goes to work, you don't bother them with foolishness and nonsense from 9 to 5. Like Big Red's office hours, 9 to 5. It's off limits. But Lee, because he ain't got no goddamn manners and no home training, and just pops up all the time. This is what happens when you don't check that ish from the beginning. The first time she popped up, she should have told him through the door it wasn't appropriate and he needs to call before he comes. But he popped up at the job. The look on his face when Michael Ealy walked up, because he didn't know Mary Jane's boss looked like that. He was like, oh yeah, I've heard of you. Yeah, you work in construction. Shade. You being shady. Justin is shady. Shady. But I cackled. Anyway, Lee was there. He wanted her to know that he was planning not to have a baby with Zoe, and he was going to tell Zoe, you don't get any hand claps, cookies, and balloons because you made the obvious choice that you shouldn't have had to think about anyway. Thanks for updating me. I'm glad that after you bullshit on coming to a decision that you finally reached the right one. Whatever. Mary Jane's like, okay, work is really tough. I'll talk to you. I'll see you later. Yeah. She shows up at the hotel room later. He's ordered room service. And the first thing I wondered, did he pay for that? Because, you know, her meals are probably comp. Because everything about Lee and this not seeing his home, how he's always at the hotel, how Mary Jane's never mentioned being at his home, I really don't think he paid for it. He was like, oh, we got some wine. Good Day USA paid for that. You ain't pay for that, sir. But MJ turns around and wants to talk to him about having a baby. I'm like, really? This is still an option. Like, that whole I don't want to get married, she just glossed right over that. If MJ has always wanted to get married. For the last 4 seasons, it's been marriage, marriage, marriage. Marriage, I want to have a baby. Marriage, I want to have a baby. Marriage, I want to be married as long as my parents, and I want to have a baby. And all of a sudden, like, the marriage thing just doesn't matter to her anymore. She's just like, I want to have this baby. And I was like, what is it about Lee's sperm? Because you got to be careful with who you procreate with, because the baby could look like you, or the baby could look like them. That baby would be... I don't understand why everyone is so pressed for this man's sperm. He's unattractive. I held it in for like 2.5 months. I said it. I've been trying to avoid saying it. Looks aren't everything. If you're gonna be not cute, you gotta have some money, a house, your stuff in order. You can't be not cute and have a sloppy life and be contemplating having a baby with your ex. Like, that's too goddamn much. I'm not a Lee fan. And that's all I have to say about that. Everybody's just asking him for his sperm. I understand why somebody would want some Justin sperm. Lee sperm? If the goal is just to have a healthy baby, that'll do. I was in a Facebook chat about Lee and Mary Jane, because I think the general consensus for most people watching is no. Like, we tried to accept Lee and just no. And so the woman I was conversing with was saying the casting of Lee as being a commentary by the writers and directors of what options are available to a 40-year-old woman. Is it saying that if you get to a certain point and you don't get married or have children, then what you're left with is the Lees of the world? Is that what the commentary is that they're making by bringing Lee into the storyline? Roll that around. Let me know what you think about that. Okay, Justin, because that needs to be discussed. Mary Jane is still riding high off the interview that she did with the guy who was railroaded by the Supreme Court nominee. Justin pitches an idea, and the long game of it is that it will take Rhonda out of the country and it will leave the anchor chair open. So he's trying to finagle a way to get Mary Jane into the anchor chair. Fast forward, it doesn't work. Rhonda catches on to what they're doing. She flies back from the Virgin Islands early. She does her story, and Mary Jane gets bumped from the anchor chair. She's very upset because every single time she tries something, Rhonda finds a way to foil it somehow. So she goes into her office. She has a complete meltdown. And who comes trotting in behind her to give her a pep talk other than Justin? They gaze at each other. She's all vulnerable. He's all in charge, pump you up, battery in your back. And they have a kiss. It was a letdown. Like, I've been waiting all season for this. In real life, no, I don't root for cheaters. But TV, just give me some good drama. Like, and this is precisely what that is. I thought there would be a little more. All things considered, it was weak tea. It was a triple pour. I thought maybe they would have got it in. I mean, the blinds were closed. I guess it is like 7 or 8 a.m. though, because it's morning TV. But I mean, everything works at that hour. I don't know. That's just me being like a heathen and just all hot and bothered from Michael Ealy. Just ignore me. It's good drama though. Whatever. But here's the best thing about that. She goes and kisses Michael Ealy and then goes to Lee and starts discussing this baby again. Like the whole Michael Ealy thing didn't happen. Clearly your dude is still into his ex. And clearly you're having some reservations, I should say, about your relationship to the point that you're kissing people at work. And yet y'all are still going to have a conversation about making a life together. I'm glad that they focused more on Kara this episode because Kara, again, is my favorite character. When Orlando showed up drunk at the house, it's not a breakup offense, but my God, I was annoyed. I can't stand drunk men. There's nothing sexy or attractive about a drunk man. I hope men know that. Like, it's a huge turn off. You're drunk. I don't understand why you couldn't just get in an Uber or call a car because you're rich. I don't understand why he had to show up at Kara's house. But Kara was annoyed. Kara dealt with it. Orlando pops up later looking lovely in his towel. Oh, and then he gets on national television and he announces that he's dating Kara, which Kara's very taken aback by because now she's on the blogs and people are talking about her and she's like, I'm a very private person. Essentially, Kara is afraid that Orlando is going to disappoint her. It's fair. The man didn't even know what the word monogamous was. He thought it was unanimous. I'm not getting over that. She just doesn't really know if he takes her seriously or if this is going to last. Despite Kara being so hard all the time and being like, I'm about my job. Like, I think everyone wants to connect with the right person. I think everyone wants to feel like they're in something with the person who really gets them. And Kara's afraid of being vulnerable to that feeling and it not working out for her, which I think a lot of people deal with. But she tells Orlando that she's breaking up with him and she just used him as a work come up and she doesn't need him anymore. And he doesn't believe her because he's like, no, I see how you are about me. You're really into me and that's not just my ego, because he's right. And she's just like, no. And he's like, tell me you don't love me. And Kara she gave him the ill blank face. And I was like, damn, Kara, you're like a dude. But Orlando left and that's that. And then Kara bawled her eyes out because he's somebody that she really cares about. So